Hello everyone and welcome to my book talk. My name is William and I will be discussing the book known as A Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin. Now before I digress into the book and why you should read it, allow me to share with you what you're looking at. What you're seeing is a video game known as Europa Universalis 4. It is a grand strategy game where you lead your kingdom through thick and thin in an attempt to come out on top through the use of diplomacy and conquest. Now in this particular recording, I played as the kingdom known as House Stark. After all, what better kingdom to unite the Northmen under one banner than the Starks of Winterfell? You know, for anyone who's read the books or watched the show. Anyhow, I figured that it would be a great display of eye candy while I talk about the book. Speaking of which, A Storm of Swords is the third series in George R. R. Martin's, well, it's the third in a series of George R. R. Martin's saga known as A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, A Storm of Swords is written with multiple characters' perspectives, like each and every other A Song of Ice and Fire book, each character being unique to a specific personality and location. So rather than introduce you to all 12 of them, I'll read the synopsis on the back and try to clue you in on what the book is about. A word of caution though, spoiler alerts, obviously. Now, of the 5 contenders for power, one is dead, another in disfavor, and still the wars rage, as alliances are made and broken. Joffrey sits on the Iron Throne, the uneasy ruler of the 7 kingdoms. His most bitter rival, Lord Stannis, stands defeated and disgraced, victim of the sorceress who now holds him in her thrall. Young Robb still rules the north from the fortress of Riverrun. Meanwhile, making her way across a blood-drenched continent is the exiled queen, Daenerys, mistress of the only 3 dragons left in the world. And as opposing forces maneuver for the final showdown, an army of barbaric wildlings arise from the outermost limits of civilization, accompanied by a horde of mythical others, a supernatural army of the living dead whose animated corpses are unstoppable. As the future of the land hangs in the balance, no one will rest until the 7 kingdoms have exploded into a veritable storm of swords. Get it? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Well, quite frankly, in my opinion, the reason you should read this book is, well, for starters, if you're a medieval fantasy fan, you obviously should read it. Even if you're just a regular fantasy fan with, like Lord of the Rings or anything like that, I'm sure you would enjoy this book. However, as a normal person, the biggest aspect that appealed to me was the multiple character perspectives. It was interesting and fun to go from one tone of voice to the next. In one chapter, you'll be lurking around in Tyrion's dirty thoughts, which can be a little disturbing, but mostly funny. And in another chapter, you'll be empathizing with a fat boy known as Samuel Tarly, who struggles to keep up with the rest of the group, because I'm unfit. Now, either way, I think George did a really good job in creating several character perspectives, each filled with his own unique tone, diction, and sentence structure. However, if you really, really want to enjoy the book to its fullest, I would recommend that you watch the show first. Now, I'm sure that you've all heard of Game of Thrones, like the best show on TV, better than The Walking Dead, of course. And as a watcher and a bookie, I totally recommend it. The reason I implore you to watch it before reading the book, however, is because, well, it's like reading Shakespeare. There's a bunch of different characters that you probably wouldn't be able to memorize, but having the visual aid of the character seared into your brain before reading the book might help. Right, it's like that casting call assignment that we did for Miss Yap, or that you will do, Measure for Measure. Now, a word to the wise, if you decide to read the book, be wary of the graphic imagery, which can range from intimate sex scenes, and gory fight scenes, which, not a big deal. But, also, if you're a slow reader, you'll be reading this book for, like, months on end. I mean, look at this, thousands of pages formatted like the Bible, but it's still a really good book. Now, that pretty much wraps up this talk. Fare thee well, and remember that while the long summer may be upon us, summer break, always remember that winter is coming. So long, folks, and enjoy the remainder of the gameplay that you see here.